News moves fast, and so do we. Welcome to Neural Newscast, your AI-powered, human-reviewed daily briefing.
Live from the Neural Newscast Global Information Center, I'm Andrew Lindbeck. Today is August 25, 2025. On this day in 1819, Alan Pinkerton, who would go on to found the Pinkerton National Detective Agency, was born in Glasgow, Scotland, on August 25, 1819. Across continents, here's what's happening. An Israeli strike hits Nasser Hospital in Khan Yunis, killing 20 people, including 5 journalists, according to Gaza health officials. The Israeli military confirms it struck the hospital area and says it is investigating, adding, "We do not target journalists." The blast comes amid heavy fighting in southern Gaza and mounting concern over civilian safety and press protections. Press freedom groups and aid organizations urge safety assurances for medical staff and media. Turning to Southeast Asia, here's what's next. More than 500,000 people are ordered to evacuate as Typhoon Kajiki moves toward Vietnam, prompting closures and shelter preparations. Here's Daniel Grove with more.
More than 500,000 people receive evacuation orders as Typhoon Kajiki heads for Vietnam after skirting China's Hainan Island. Forecasters track the storm moving west across the South China Sea with dangerous winds and heavy rain. Vietnam's disaster agency closes beaches, suspends some flights, and prepares shelters along central provinces. Fishermen are called back to port, and schools in coastal cities announce closures. Flood-prone areas brace for landslides and power outages. China issues marine warnings for Hainan as seas turn rough. Officials urge residents to move early and stay safe as the storm approaches. This is Daniel Grove for Neural Newscast.
Let's dive into the latest in politics. President Trump threatens a federal probe into Chris Christie over Bridgegate, after Christie criticized Justice Department actions. Here's Cassandra Joyce with more.
President Donald Trump threatens to seek a new federal investigation of former New Jersey Governor Chris Christie over the 2013 Bridgegate scandal. He raises the idea after Christie criticizes his use of the Justice Department. Christie, a one-time ally and now a Republican critic, calls it political retaliation. Legal experts note Bridgegate produced multiple convictions, later overturned by the Supreme Court in 2020. Supporters say presidents can advocate enforcement priorities. Critics warn this blurs law enforcement and politics. That debate remains part of ongoing discussions about executive power. This is Cassandra Joyce for Neural Newscast.
From the Economic Desk, here's what's new. Hong Kong removes Evergrande from the stock market, spotlighting the developer's huge liabilities and contagion concerns. Here's Ethan Wells with more.
Hong Kong removes China Evergrande Group from the stock market, marking a dramatic fall for the developer. Evergrande carries more than $300 billion in liabilities and misses key debt payments since 2021. Its collapse hits suppliers, home buyers, and banks, and pressures China's $2 trillion property sector. Shares already lose most of their value before delisting. Investors worry about contagion across Asia. Beijing prioritizes finishing pre-sold homes, not bailouts. One official calls it orderly risk disposal. Global markets watch for spillover into commodities and growth.
Keurig Dr Pepper announces an $18 billion acquisition of Peet's Coffee and plans to split into coffee and soft drink units. Here's Cassandra Joyce with more.
Keurig Dr Pepper announces an $18 billion deal to acquire Peet's Coffee, reshaping its beverage empire. After the takeover, the company plans to split into 2 businesses, one focused on coffee and one on soft drinks. The coffee unit combines Keurig Brewers K-Cups and Peet's Cafes and Beans. The soft drink unit centers on Dr Pepper, 7-Up, and Snapple. Executives say the structure will sharpen strategy and speed growth. Investors watch for cost synergies, brand integration, and how leadership divides across the new units. This is Cassandra Joyce for Neural Newscast.
Science shaping our understanding. SpaceX has rescheduled the scrubbed 10th Starship test launch, aiming to address recent setbacks and engine performance.
This is NNC, Neural Newscast.
Here's Nathaniel Cohen with more.
SpaceX targets Monday for the 10th test flight of Starship, its giant next-generation rocket. The company scrubbed a planned launch and now resets for the new window. Recent flights faced setbacks, including vehicle breakup and loss of propulsion. Engineers aim to prove better stage separation, engine performance, and controlled splashdowns. Starship stands about 397 feet tall and is designed for reuse. NASA plans to use a lunar lander version for Artemis moon missions later this decade.
The James Webb Space Telescope has found 300 mysteriously luminous objects that challenge early universe models and demand follow-up. Here's Daniel Fletcher with more.
NASA's James Webb Space Telescope spots 300 unusually luminous objects in deep-field images. The candidates appear less than 1 billion years after the Big Bang, more than 13 billion years ago. They shine far brighter than expected for young galaxies. Scientists debate whether they are early galaxies, star clusters, or black hole-fed systems. The find challenges models of how quickly stars and heavy elements form. Researchers plan follow-up spectroscopy to measure distances, masses, and chemical makeup. One scientist calls the haul a cosmic overachiever list. This is Daniel Fletcher for Neural Newscast.
Here's the latest on the environment. Plastic bag sales in England rise for the first time in a decade, driven by online grocery deliveries and ultra-fast services. Here's Samuel Green with more.
Plastic bag sales in England rise for the first time in a decade. Shoppers buy 437 million single-use carrier bags last year, up 7% from 407 million. DEFRA links the increase to online grocery growth and ultra-fast deliveries replacing store trips. The so-called Ocado effect highlights delivery services where bags are used per order. The shift risks eroding gains from the 10p bag charge and past reductions. Officials urge retailers and consumers to cut bag use and expand reusable and returnable options.
Typhoon Kajiki has made landfall in Vietnam, causing destructive winds, flooding, and widespread evacuations along the central coast. Here's Stephen Summers with more.
Typhoon Kajiki slams Vietnam's central coast, bringing destructive winds, heavy rain, and dangerous storm surge. The storm makes landfall today near Da Nang and Hue, toppling trees, flooding streets, and knocking out power. Authorities evacuate hundreds of thousands from low-lying areas and suspend schools, flights, and fishing. Forecasters warn of 200 to 300 millimeters of rain through Wednesday, with landslide risk in mountainous provinces. Emergency crews deployed to Quang Tri, Thua Tinu, and Da Nang. Stay indoors and move to higher ground, officials urge. This is Stephen Summers for Neural Newscast.
From the World Desk, here's what's new. Russia's foreign minister says there is no plan for a Putin-Zelensky meeting, dimming hopes for leader-level diplomacy. Here's Thomas Golding with more.
Russia's foreign minister says there is no plan for a meeting between Vladimir Putin and Volodymyr Zelensky. Sergei Lavrov makes the comment as fighting in Ukraine continues and diplomacy stalls. His stance undercuts President Donald Trump's push to mediate an end to the war. The Kremlin maintains talks must reflect battlefield realities and Russia's terms. Kiev insists Russia withdraw and respect Ukraine's borders. Without leader-level talks, negotiations remain limited to lower-level channels, keeping a near-term ceasefire out of reach. This is Thomas Golding for Neural Newscast.
Athletic highlights and scores are next. Premier League clubs are racing to complete transfers, with a week remaining before the window closes on September 1st. Here's Thomas Golding with more.
The transfer window closes on September 1st, and top Premier League clubs accelerate deals. Liverpool target midfield depth and a left-sided defender after recent injuries. Manchester United seek a striker and ball-winning midfielder to balance Erik ten Hag's squad. Tottenham push for a centre-back and wide forward. Manchester City weigh late moves after departures, eyeing creativity and cover at fullback. 1 week remains, prices rise, and leverage shifts. This is Thomas Golding for Neural Newscast.
Stories from the world of arts and culture. We remember Eddie Palmieri, the pioneering pianist and Helle, son of Latin music, who died at 88, leaving a lasting musical legacy. Here's Lydia Holmes with more.
Eddie Palmieri, the 10-time Grammy-winning son of Latin music, dies at 88 on August 6th. The Spanish Harlem-born pianist reshaped salsa and Latin jazz over 7 decades. His 1961 orchestra, La Perfecta, pioneers a trombone-driven sound that helped spark salsa in the U.S. He earns the first Grammy for Best Latin Recording in 1975, plus a 2013 Latin Academy Lifetime Achievement Award and NEA Jazz Master Honor. His 1965 album Azúcar Pa. T enters the National Recording Registry in 2009.
Comedian Reginald Carroll has died following a shooting. Police have arrested a suspect, and the community mourns. Here's Lucas Bennett with more.
Comedian Reginald Reggie Carroll dies at 52 after a shooting in northern Mississippi. South Haven police say they arrest a suspect and charge him with murder. Carroll, a Baltimore native known on club stages and social media, draws tributes from fellow performers. Oscar winner Monique calls him a brother in comedy. The investigation continues as fans and colleagues mourn a veteran voice from the mid-Atlantic comedy scene. This is Lucas Bennett for Neural Newscast.
That's our coverage for this hour. For in-depth analysis and the latest headlines, head to neuralnewscast.com and subscribe wherever you get your podcasts. I'm Andrew Lindbeck, signing off.
This has been another Neural Newscast production. Join us again soon, and visit nnewscast.com to explore today's news as well as the past like never before. At Neural Newscast, we mix real voices with AI-generated ones to bring you fast, high-quality news. Every story is created with AI but reviewed by humans to keep things accurate and fair. While we do our best to prevent mistakes, AI isn't perfect, so double-check key facts with trusted sources. Want to know more about our AI process? Head to nnewscast.com.